Namaste yogis, welcome to your practice. I'm Steven from YogaWorks. What I would like to do together with you today is a half an hour, more or less, feel good hip flow. So when is this handy? And I can think of two situations. One is you've been using your hips or your whole body, of course, too much. You've been doing hectic sports or activities, you've been running around like crazy. This is one scenario. Or the other scenario, which might even be more likely than that first one, is underuse. You have been sitting or sedentary, or like in my case, I've just drove for 5 hours earlier today from a different place. So your hips have not been moving, and your hips are made to move. So what we're going to do today is just stay in the middle between not using the hips enough and going way overboard and using them too much. We'll try to find that nice middle ground of a nice active flow, but without going crazy or to our very limit. So we're going to try and stay both calm and active in this practice together. Nice. So to start, really easy. Cross your legs, one shin in front of the other. Remember which one you got in front. Activate your feet a bit and wiggle side to side. I really like to start like this because it immediately hits that spot in the outer hips where personally I tend to get quite restricted, especially after sitting for a long time. But you're not getting stuck in one single position. So just move around a bit. You might be more upright if this is enough for you, or you might need to lean a bit more forward to feel a bit of a hip stretch, but keep it mild, as we said, because we're trying to stay in that middle ground of not too challenging and not completely lazy either. Nice. And then swap it around so the other shin goes in front. Activate the feet a little bit and move side to side. And in this first one, we're just greeting the area that we are going to work with, which is the entire region around the hips. So we'll get into outer hips, which is this pose. We'll get a little bit into hamstrings and glutes at the back of the hips. A little bit in the front, the hip flexors, the quads, and a little bit on the inside. So we'll touch on the full circumference. Good, and then lean back and place your left ankle on top of the right knee and come into double pigeon pose or ankle to knee pose. You can see my knee is really high. I've been sitting in the car the whole day, but it doesn't really matter. If this feels terrible on your knees or somewhere else, then you can go back to one leg in front, the cross-legged one. Nice. And then lean back. You can use your hands behind you and swap it around. Try not to use the hands to place the feet. So now I have right ankle on the left knee. I'm lengthening the spine a bit. In my case, I don't need to fold forward to feel more of a stretch because it's already quite a decent stretch. And I'm just happy to stay upright here. In your case, if you have, if that knee is much lower or you just can't feel anything, you might need to lean a little bit more forward to get into that stretch. Good. And then let's do one more time. Left ankle to right knee, walk a tiny bit forward, just to check it out. Just go to your first boundary and stay there without pushing through. And then lean back, right ankle, left knee, maybe lean a little bit forward, just experience the pose. Good, and then right shin in front of left. Or if you're super comfortable in that double pigeon, you can do that again. And then we're going to lean the left hand to the left, right arm up and over into the side bend. I'm trying to keep the hips heavy and lengthen the whole side under the armpit, the side of the ribs, into the waist, into the outer hip. Nice. And then come up and we're twisting to the right so you can have right hand behind you, left hand over that knee. And then again find that middle ground. You're just moving into the twist until you feel something you can work with without it being too intense. Good. Swap the legs. It's going to be left shin in front of right, or whichever side you haven't done. Right hand, a big step to the right. Left arm up and over. And a couple of breaths here. Let's keep the head relaxed, the neck relaxed. We're getting to outer part of the hips, but also into the torso a little bit. It's nice to get into the waist and the side. It's often a little bit overlooked, and actually whenever I do a bit of a feel-good flow, I like lots of twists and side bends. And then left hand behind you, right hand outside your knee, lengthen the spine, turn to the left until you stop. Nice. Keeping things simple, just a couple of breaths. We're not holding for a very long time because we want to keep things a little bit moving. Especially if you've been sitting for a while, that's going to feel good. And then coming to downward facing dog, just plant the hands and walk the legs out. So I'm alternating, one heel is pushing down as the other knee bends, and then you can change that to the other side. And just do that a couple of times. One knee bends, the other leg straightens. And you might find with the single leg stretching down, you get a little bit more space. Your heel gets a bit closer to the mat. And also you get into that calf a little bit more than with the regular both legs stretching down. Good. And then both legs. Let's try it out. Reach up with the hips. Push down with the hands, lengthen your spine. And then let's try this, bend the right knee quite a bit. Turn the left heel in like you're doing warrior one on that left heel there. And then all I'm doing here is lean the hips a little bit to the right. So I'm getting this nice side stretch on the whole left side of the body. Lean into it a bit, keep the breath soft. And then back to center. Bend the left knee a bit, turn the right heel down about 45 degrees, it should be good. And then lean the hips away from that straight leg and the right hip. You can turn to the side, but you might not need to. Just keep that right hand pushing down and find some good space on the right side of the body. Good, and back to center. Step your right foot forward. Let's come into high lunge, but keep that back knee bent a lot. So it's actually quite close to the ground without touching really. And if you want, you can lift the arms and just stay for a moment. Get some space into the front of this left hip here. And then let the breath settle. Just experience the space you find inside the pose. Good, and hands down, downward facing dog. Move back, and then left foot forward, right knee bent a good amount. You're not trying to touch down, you're not trying to straighten, so you're nicely in the middle. And then maybe lift the arms, a nice stretch the front of that right hip. And if you keep the abdominals a little bit toned, you're not squashing them together, but just a bit toned, you'll feel a better stretch in the front of the right hip. One more breath here. And then lower the hands down, back to downward facing dog. You see how quickly you can make a difference by moving a little bit in different positions, getting into some of those muscles that tend to stiffen up when we're in the same position for a long period of time. Good, and walk the feet forward to the front. Bend your knees, and then a couple of times inhale to chair pose, lift the arms, and exhale, straighten the legs, forward fold. And then inhale to chair pose. You can keep it a little bit mild, you don't have to go crazy with the chair. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale to chair, lift the arms. Exhale, let the head hang, forward fold. This time chair pose, hands to heart. Bring left ankle on your right knee and just sit into it. Move the hips a bit back, maybe lean the heart a little bit forward, and then forward fold, release the leg. Nice, chair pose, hands to heart, right ankle, left knee, that makes more sense. Sit a little bit back with the hips, lean a little bit forward with your chest, and then forward fold, hang down. Nice, let's do that again. Bend your knees, little chair pose, hands to heart, left ankle, right knee. And then alternate. Forward fold just for a moment. Bend your knees, right ankle, left knee. Nice, it's a super simple flow. We're just alternating between this chair pose with the outer hip stretch. Let's do one more time each side. And then the forward fold to get into hamstrings a little bit. Left ankle, right knee. Sit low and back. Good. Place the foot down, forward fold in between, relax as much as you can. And then last one, right ankle, left knee. Sit low, lean forward. And already you might find there's a bit more space compared to the first time you've done this. Mountain pose. Inhale, let's lift the arms. Exhale, forward fold. Remember, you can always bend the knees a bit here. Inhale, flat back, lengthen the heart forward. Exhale, fold again, let the head hang, let your neck relax. Inhale, let's rise, reach up to the fingertips, lift the rib cage, hands to the heart. Nice, that's a half sun salute. Let's do that again. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, follow your breath down. Inhale, flat back, lift and lengthen. Exhale, back to forward fold. Inhale, lift everything up, push your feet down, get some nice length. And exhale, hands to heart. Good. Inhale, let's add a step back now. Exhale, forward fold, reach down to the crown of the head. Now inhale, lengthen forward with the chest, with the head. Then right foot, step it back into a low lunge to lower that knee. Inhale, lift the arms, just for a breath here. Exhale to downward facing dog, step back. Now inhale into plank pose. And then just lower your knees in plank and let the hips hang down. So you get into sort of a lazy up dog, you could say. You can untuck the toes, but with the knees down, it shouldn't be too strenuous. Good. And then move your way back to downward facing dog. Take a breath. Inhale here. Exhale the right foot forward, left knee to the mat. Lift your arms, just here for a breath. Exhale to the front of the mat, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen forward, flat back. Exhale, fold a little bit deeper this space. Inhale to rise, reach up, lengthen. Exhale, hands to heart, ready for side two. Here we go, inhale, lift and reach. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift. Keep the legs strong. Left foot steps back, left knee down to the mat. Lift your arms, low lunge pose, Anjane. And then hands down, first to down dog. Inhale, shift forward to plank. Lower the knees, and then hang the hips down, move the chest forward. A version of upward facing dog, but when we want to feel good, we don't want to do extraneous effort. This is a nice little alternative, so we're skipping the chaturangas, if you've noticed. You're welcome. Step back, downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale the left foot forward, right knee to the mat. Lift your arms one breath to the top. And exhale, step to the front, forward fold. Lift and lengthen flat back. Inhale. Exhale, fold again. Inhale to rise, reach up. Palms touch. Exhale, hands to heart. We're in the mountain pose. Take a slow breath in. Take a slow breath out. Just feel your breath, nice and calm flow. Feel your thoughts, hopefully also nice and calm flow. And then the body is our main focus. We're setting the pace by what we're doing physically here. Hopefully the mind will follow. Inhale, lift your arms, reach up. Exhale, fold and relax the neck. Halfway lift, inhale. Right foot step it back to warrior two. So I'm turning the heel down, open the arms forward and back, bend into the front knee until it feels good. Nice. Inhale, reverse your warrior. So you're leaning back with that left arm. Nice. And then left elbow down, right arm over for side angle. Let's do that again. Inhale, reverse. Keep the legs steady in the same position and reach forward and up through your top arm. One more time. Inhale, reverse. Exhale to side angle. Nice. Reverse again, but this time straighten your front leg. It's a sort of reverse triangle, you could call it. And then reach right hand forward, keep the legs straight. Lower the right hand to a spot you can rest down on and lift the left arm. I'm talking as if I'm mirroring you, but usually for videos I don't. So it's actually left hand down, right arm up. Hopefully you figured that out. Nice. And then if you'd like to reach the top arm over the head for a nice little side bend. I really like to do this in triangle because that back leg is pushing away towards the other side, so you get some nice anchoring to lean away from. Couple of breaths here, let the head relax. You can just look in the direction of your chest or whatever is comfortable. I don't really enjoy cranking the head to look up in this pose, to be honest. But you can do that if you like to. If it feels good, then just do it. Good. Let's come out. Downward facing dog. Inhale into plank. Lower the knees. And then modified upward facing dog. Just let the hips hang down as you broaden the chest. Good. Downward facing dog. Press the thigh bones back. And then let's walk to the front of the mat. Inhale to flat back. Exhale to fold. Let's rise to the top. Big breath in. Palms touch, hands to heart. We're back to center. Take a slow breath in. Take a slow breath out. You're here to feel good. Let's go. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Nice. Left foot back. I'm going to turn around, left foot back for warrior two. Turn that heel down, open the arms, bend the front knee, find a nice, steady, stable, feel-good position. Isn't it nice to know you came to your practice with the sole intention of feeling good? You didn't come here to punish yourself. You didn't come here to lose weight. You didn't come here to change and become different in a certain way. You didn't come here to learn a difficult yoga pose. No, you came here to feel good. Let's try. Reverse warrior. Stretch the side body and lean back, but not too much. And then right elbow down, left arm up and over. We'll do that a couple more times. Inhale, reverse. Get into the side there. Exhale, get into the other side in side angle. One more time, you've got this. Inhale, lean back, but don't straighten the front leg. Exhale, reach forward and up on the diagonal. Nice. Now we're leaning back, straighten the front leg to prepare for triangle pose. Let that right hand reach forward and anchor down somewhere. Left arm up, or if you enjoyed this, left arm reach forward. I'm cheating a little bit with the wall here, but there's not more space. Actually, this is quite a nice little prop if you want to try this out sometime to push into the wall. It's nice to have something to resist into. Anyway, breathe into the top side of your rib cage and your torso there. Take another breath. And then slowly lift up. Nice. From here, parallel the feet. So you're facing straight ahead. Fold forward, prasarita. I told you we're going to get into all sides of the hips, so this is a good one to get into inner thighs. You can always widen the feet a little bit more if you want. Maybe walk the hands back and relax the head down. If it so happens your head touches down, that's okay. Don't worry about it. If your head doesn't touch down, it's okay, don't worry about it, same thing. You're here to feel good, so sometimes it feels good with the head down, and sometimes that would be an impossible task, so obviously it wouldn't feel good. Good. Slowly lift up halfway, flat back. And then here we're just gonna drop the left knee down. Nice. And then come with the left hip above this left knee for gate pose. Actually, I need a little bit more space. Make sure you have a little more space to your left. Turn the right toes down and reach left hand down straight in line with this knee and the other foot. And reach top arm up and reach it over the head to the front of your mat. That's a nice little option. It's a version of side plank, you could say, or a version of gate pose, depending on how you look at it. And then lift up, all the way up. Right hand gonna slide down this leg. Actually, I like to turn the toes up for this second version, and then reach the top arm over. The left arm was over the head. So now you get into inner thigh again, maybe a little bit of hamstring, maybe a bit of outer hip on that other side. We're doing our circumference of the hip joint, and we're trying different ways so that we can feel good. Come out of it, place the right knee down, reach your left leg out, and then align your right hip above the right knee here. Nice. I like to turn the foot down, especially for this first one. Right hand off to the right, left arm up and over, and then reach away from that bottom foot which you're anchoring down. Nice. Slightly engage the abdominals, and it might be good to engage the glutes as well, but as with all the other poses today, keep a little bit mild. And then lift up, slide your left hand down the left leg until you stop. Reach the right arm over the head, and you're getting a nice side bend in the other direction. I like to turn the toes up here, but there's different preferences. So again, whatever feels good, I would recommend that. Nice. Slowly lift up and come into downward facing dog. Nice. Let's step the right foot forward. Turn the left foot down and step it in a bit. So you want a bit of a shorter stance than normal. Nice. And then left hand, anchor it under the left shoulder. With the right hand, go onto your lower back. Just feel that the hips are more or less level as best as you can manage here. Lengthen your chest forward, and then start to turn the chest a little bit to the right. Nice. So you're squeezing the inner thighs together as if there's a block between your thighs, and then lengthen the chest to the front. If you want to, you can now release this top arm, reach it straight up or as best as you can, and then the head, you can turn it all the way in, or if it doesn't feel so good, you can even look down or to the side. All right, so one more breath here, and then release it, downward facing dog. Just step back, use this as a little reset before we do the second side. And then step left foot forward, turn the right heel down, use a bit of a shorter stance, so not warrior 2 length, a little bit shorter than that. Good. And keep the right hand underneath your right shoulder. Let's start left hand lower back. Just check that the pelvis is more or less level. It's a bit hard to become aware of because you can't see it. And then lengthen your chest forward, get some nice length in the spine. You can stay here, or you can start to turn the left shoulder open to the side. Keep the legs steady, squeeze inner thigh. It's going to help to fix your base. And then maybe the left arm goes up. Nice. You can turn the head to look up, or keep it a bit more neutral. I often like to look in the direction of the chest. Don't lose your back heel. It tends to become a little bit light in this pose if you're like me. So there's a lot going on in this pose. We're trying to just manage it as best as we can. And then hands come down, downward facing dog. Take a moment. Good. Right knee behind the right wrist for pigeon pose. Nice. Walk the left leg a little bit back. Remember, you can always pop something under that right hip if it's lifted high off the mat. If you're comfortable, then that's good. And then pop up onto your fingertips for this first version, and then lift the chest. So this is a bit more of a back bend version, which is taking us into the front of that back leg there, the front of your left hip. And then keep pressing the legs down to the mat, even so much that if you wanted to, you could lift your hands, but we don't have to. Good. And what I really like here in terms of feel-good pose in Pigeon is right hand over to the left, and then left hand also follows, but mainly with that right hand, creep a little bit further forward and push the right hand down as you turn the chest down towards the mat. As I'm moving the right hip back and I'm pressing the right hand down in between, I'm getting another little side stretch in addition to all the feel-good stuff which is already happening in Pigeon pose. Nice. And then lift back up, downward facing dog with swapping sides. Good. Left knee behind the left wrist. So keep the knee to the outside of the mat, it's going to give you more space. And then right leg, walk it back. And then first part of the pose, lift the chest. You could press down with the fingertips, but with the legs, keep a nice grounded action. So I'm pressing down with the legs, even so much that the hands might be able to lift. Nice. You can still support yourself with the hands, even though the legs are really active. Get that nice open chest, openness in the front of the right hip. Good. And then the side bend. Let's walk over to the left side of the mat. Walk your, to the right side, I mean. Left hand goes extra far, creep it a bit more forward. Push the floor down with that left hand. And then turn the chest down towards the mat. Try not completely collapse to the side. I'm trying to keep the hips level, the left hip back. And take a few deeper breaths into that left side body. Good. Walk the hands back. Now keep the legs as they are. I'll just turn to face forward. Sit onto your left outer hip. Swing the right leg over. I'll give you two options. You could just cross right shin in front of left like this, or right knee on top of left knee for Gomukhasana. I like to come a bit forward to sort of glue the knees a bit closer together, and then you can sit down between the feet. So however you come into it, do that. Lengthen the spine. Good. You just take a moment here, this is fine. Just sitting upright. For many of us, this is plenty. And if you just sat in the car for half a day, like me, then this is quite a stretch. I don't think I need to lean forward a lot. If this doesn't do anything, you need a bigger stretch, then just lean a bit more forward with the upper body. Then try to get away from the idea that a deeper pose or more flexibility is automatically better. It may not be. It may be completely the bad idea for you. It might lead you to injury. It might make you feel worse after you do a pose like this. So just become aware of what is your feel-good version of these poses. And it might actually mean that you skip the pose altogether and you modify it by doing something else, which is a good idea. Good. Let's swap around. It's going to be right knee at the bottom, left knee on top. If you want, you can come forward to get into it a bit deeper and then sit down. And remember, if this doesn't work, left shin in front of right for a simple cross-legged version can be plenty of stretch for those outer hips. If you're starting to feel a bit more open, then this is a good sort of level up from the cross-legged version we've done before. But only you will know what's right, isn't it? I have no way of knowing. And maybe walk a little bit forward, but you might not need to. For me, it's plenty if I just angle the torso forward a tiny bit today. Every day, your practice will be different, your body will be different. The temperature and the circumstances are different. So you have to adapt things to how you feel right now. One more deeper breath. Good. And then come into a comfortable seat, however that is for you. Rest the hands on the thighs or in your lap, wherever they're comfortable. And then let's just take a few slow breaths in silence. I'm going to keep quiet for half a minute or so. Just let your body rest and notice the after effects of your practice. Good. That brings us right to about half an hour. I hope it hit the spot, the feel-good spot. I hope you feel a little bit more loose and open around the hips. And I hope that your mind enjoyed this kind of gentle but a little bit active way of moving. Thanks for joining me here. It was a pleasure to do yoga together as always. And I hope to see you here again soon. Namaste.